Hexagram number 14. Possession in great measure. Now you understand. Possession in great measure refers to the state of self-possession and inner independence we have achieved through perseveringly and sincerely trying to find the correct way. In this state, we unconsciously manifest the higher power. Possession in great measure also refers to any improvement in our attitude or circumstance. Inner independence is a possession acquired from having overcome self-pity. The correct path is a possession acquired when we have returned from wrongdoing. A feeling of self-worth is a possession acquired through self-discipline and self-development. Other possessions include relief from money problems and reuniting with someone from whom we have long been estranged. This hexagram states unequivocally that if we truly possess a thing, it cannot be lost or destroyed. What we have gained, the progress earned through our hard work, cannot be lost. In spite of temporary setbacks, disruptions in our relationships provide occasions for improving attitudes and for learning cosmic lessons. Sometimes the situation resembles having lost one's credit card, and the credit card will be returned. We cannot know, but we are assured by this hexagram that renewal of a relationship is not dependent solely on our credit worthiness, but on the others as well. In any event, the relationship will be restored when the time is right. Fire in heaven shines far describes the effect we have on others that comes from having attained the clarity of mind, detachment, and inner strength that the Ching calls possession in great measure. This effect is not something we can create through intention or effort. It occurs when we are in harmony with our true selves and therefore with the cosmos. One of our primary spiritual goals is to maintain great possession or harmony with the creative. Such harmony exists so long as when in our inmost mind we conscientiously serve the true and the good. Although we may be required by our principles to withdraw from others and go on alone, we remain open-minded about them in recognizing what is incorrect, we make no attempt to justify or overlook their wrong actions. We do, however, maintain a just and moderate view of them. We neither condemn nor mentally execute them, nor do we hold them forever in mental imprisonment. In the face of evil, we take care not to become infected with the inferior thing, but retreat and maintain our standards without falling into alienation or vindictiveness. Possession in great measure means that power accompanies our inner sense of truth of the situation. Recognizing that an evil is occurring carries with it the full impact of punishment mentioned in biting through, and of imprisonment mentioned in the wanderer. It is important, in light of this power, that we make certain our thoughts remain moderate and just, for if they become infected with anger, feelings of retribution, or alienation, we abuse power, creating more obstructions, setbacks, and injustices. The power for good is inseparably connected to a moderate viewpoint and a modest attitude. The attainment of possession in great measure is the result of continuous, conscientious effort. Through this effort, we come to meet the creative halfway and thus invoke its help. From putting forth 100% effort to undermine our ego, we form a 50-50 partnership with the creative. Once this partnership is formed, we must be careful not to abuse the power generated. The danger exists that having inner freedom, we may become too cool. Having detachment, we may become too hard. Having inner strength, we may think we have the right to feelings of disdain and alienation. Having a sense of truth of things, we may therefore, having a sense of truth of things, we may interfere to straighten things out. On attaining success, we may think we did it all by ourselves. Precisely at the peak of the great possession, our ego seeks to claim victory. We must not forget that our success is really a gift from the higher power. While in a state of possession, if we will sacrifice our right to justifiable anger and relinquish any feelings of self-pity along with the right to defend our point of view when challenged, we will succeed in remaining modest, thereby honor our teacher, the guide, our sage. Another temptation once we have begun to grow secure, is to seek vindication for our views and recognition of our way of life. This constitutes a return to dependency on others and a loss of the independence that leads to possession in great measure. Through achieving inner independence, our way of life is empowered, and we unconsciously influence others. If we then seek to retain this influence, we once more lose our inner independence. If we resist the temptation to be dependent on the effect we are having on others, we will maintain our inner independence and the unconscious power associated with it. Changing line number 1. No relation with what is harmful. There is no blame. There is no blame in this. Great possession means that we are now relating to the situation correctly. Consequently, the situation has improved and progress has been made. A correct viewpoint always confers feelings of inner independence. However, if inner independence fails to be combined with humility and reserve, others' egos are aroused. A display of independence creates envy in others, while exuberant self-confidence creates feelings of insecurity and inferiority. They then begin to challenge us in the king of the heap game. And when it, if they can, generate any reaction by which we once again lose our inner independence. This can happen only if we allow our ego to glory in independence, or to indulge in exuberance and presumption. We should remain disengaged, neither responding to flattery by which we presume matters to be better than they are, nor to challenges that make us feel defensive, causing us to contend, strive, and put ourselves forward. We must allow those who seek to engage us emotionally to go their own way. Only when they realize that such challenges lead nowhere will they make an effort to correct themselves. Often this line refers to being tempted to halt our forward progress. We wish to stop and enjoy the good effect created by our inner independence and self-discipline. We fail to realize that the continued improvement of the situation is tied to our continued independence and self-discipline. We must not slide back into a dependence and selfishness that would reawaken others' egos. We need to keep steady and detached from them, whether we make progress or not. At the heart of the I Ching way is going on. We are not meant to stop and indefinitely picnic by the wayside, but get back on the path and go on. It is a cosmic rule that in seeking to hold on to joy or progress for the purpose of luxuriating in it, we lose it. Joy may be experienced and feelings of close communion with another may be felt, but whenever we seek to prolong these moments or dwell on them or luxuriate in them or possess them, we lose the inner independence on which such moments depend. They may only be received and experienced. We must always let them go and go forward with no attempt to hold on to them or to reproduce them. Joy is something we may neither construct nor possess. It is something that results from being in the right relationship to the situation. It comes as a gift from the higher power, in its own way, in its own time. We cannot make it occur or make it stay. If we can accept such gifts when they come and let go of them when they go, we will find ourselves blessed with more and more gifts. Changing line number 2. A big wagon for loading, one may undertake something. No blame, although we have made mistakes. Our recognition of these mistakes and our sincerity in trying to correct them means that we have obtained able helpers from the hidden world who will clear up the situation. As a consequence, our mistakes will not lead to embarrassment or to a deterioration of our goal or of our general situation. Changing line number 3. A prince offers it the Son of Heaven. A prince offers to the Son of Heaven. A petty man cannot do this. This line calls for sacrificing something we possess, such as justifiable anger or a feeling of rights. Sacrifice in the I Ching refers to giving up emotions that comfort us. Negation, desire, ambition, or anger for the good of the situation. One such right is the careless presumption that God or the sage is not living up to his bargain to help us attain success. The sage cannot react to such inner demands. Such culprits in our attitude perpetuate the vicious cycle of no progress. The endless slipping of the wheel of fate when it is stuck in the mud of our emotional self-vindication. This line also means to sacrifice the sense of power that comes from having possession, in great measure as a state of mind. The intoxicating carelessness that causes us to seek a name, honor, and followers. Here lies the threat of the inferior man who would seize power and rule the world. We must guard against abandoning the humility we need to keep steady on our path. Changing line number 4. He makes a difference between himself and his neighbor. No blame. It is important not to get caught up in doing what the rest of the world does. React in customary ways to what it is, from our perception, going wrong. We need to remember that in disengaging, turning the problem over to the cosmos to solve, whatever is right will prevail. But not if we do not really let go. This is the difference between doing things the Ching way and doing things the way one's neighbor might do them. This line also means that we should not compete with people who seem to have more influence than we do. We need to realize that our inner sense of truth has a far greater influence than do those who rely on external means. This line also refers to times when we see other people's inferiors getting away with things. Our ego then arises in the form of impatience and ire as we concentrate on what should happen. In this activity, our inferiors are enviously engaged. We need to disengage and to cease looking aside. We make a difference between ourselves and others when we disengage and cease watching what they do. In looking aside, we doubt their ability to succeed on their own, or to understand, or to do the right thing, or to be guided by the sage. Looking aside causes us to deviate from our own direction. Changing line number 5. He whose truth is accessible yet dignified has good fortune. This line warns that in making our inner feelings available to others, we should avoid becoming expansively friendly. Our manner and independence are having the correct effect. But being too friendly would invite insolence and a reversal of the good effects of our work. Changing line number 6. He is blessed by heaven. Nothing that does not further, if in the fullness of power we remain conscientious and careful, we will keep envy and mistrust dispersed. Conscientiousness honors the sage and expresses the principles of the I Ching. In following this way, we find joy in a job well done. This completes hexagram number 14.